Hello and welcome to the Something Relevant Always Talking Gaming podcast. You're here with the Crash Bandicoot fanatic, James Martin, myself, and the Uncharted fanatic, Jack Maiden.
Hello.
So Jack, are you excited about tomorrow?
I'm very excited.
Okay, so just to explain, this podcast is going to go into the history of both Naughty Dog and the Uncharted series before Uncharted 4 comes out. If you're worried about any sort of spoilers, one, we're a crap blog, so we don't get given the game early, and two, we're not going to mention them. If we
Also, I'd just like to butt in and say this is a future award-winning documentary, and if you want to jump on board, you need to go to our blog.
And Sony, if you want to jump on board, you can deliver any of your games to me. Just send me a private message. So
For free,
yeah, and a PS4 Neo for free. But anyway, so basically, Jack, Naughty Dog, where does it begin for you?
I guess Uncharted 1, I guess.
So you kind of jumped on the bandwagon after the first main franchises of the game. Would it be fair to say?
I got to Uncharted late because
you're an
all three had been released before the time I played Uncharted 1. So I bought a PS3 for the first time just not that long before the PS4 came out, which was a mistake in hindsight. But I bought Uncharted 1, 2, and 3 all in a bundle, PlayStation 3, played them all through, and then I loved them. And it was great playing them all through and seeing all the improvements in the game. And then I obviously got the Nathan Drake collection again once it came out on PS4.
Yeah. So you were an Xbox gamer before that, so you didn't get the benefits of some of their older franchises. Now, for most people who have been PlayStation gamers all the way through, they obviously started with Crash Bandicoot. That's not actually true, because apparently they made games like Math Jam, Ski Crazed, Dream Zone, Keith the Thief, which, they need to make a HD remake of that, Rings of Power, Way of the Warrior, before they even entered PlayStation. But given that we're not much older than PlayStation ourselves, the original, we start with Crash Bandicoot, which was Naughty Dog's big thing coming in. Now, did you actually play much Crash Bandicoot, Jack?
When I was younger, but I can barely remember it. I remember the basic gameplay controls, but certainly not something that's very fresh in my mind.
Now, I own him on PS3 and PS Vita. Yeah, because Vita Island is Crash Bandicoot's king, and it's nostalgically. I still think that when I look back at games before the PS3 and PS4, and look back at ones that can hold their own, there's very few. I'm not into Final Fantasy, but I look at those games and I think they have aged badly.
No argument.
I know I look at the old FIFAs, even PS2 FIFAs, and the original PS3 FIFAs, and you think they've aged really badly. Crash Bandicoot, if they released it on PS4, it would be clunky, but it would be... if they just released it on a Blu-ray disc and it looked like that, I'd be fine with it. That's a bad thing.
They make indie games nowadays that work worse than that.
Yeah, they do. And Crash Bandicoot was a massive... Crash Bandicoot is my favourite game. The original one. Talking to people, lots of people like Crash Bandicoot 2. 3 got a bit gimmicky maybe, but which luckily they learned the lesson with when it comes to Uncharted, I think. And then there's obviously Crash Team Racing. Right?
Yeah.
If you want Crash Bandicoot, like Jack obviously wants them, you can buy them on PS3. You can't buy them on PS4 because they're going to make a remake. And so...
that's just to say that's pure speculation on the part of an amateur game blogger.
Yep, that is pure speculation, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Save the Bandicoot.
No, it won't.
They own it. They own it now. Anyway,
but they won't do it.
Crash Bandicoot is a heroic figure who appears many a time, but he hasn't appeared on a PlayStation game exclusively since CTR. Maybe that'll change in the future. Who knows? The next one I don't know much about as well is the old Jak and Daxter. So essentially, Jack and Daxter, though, I have played the first one because they did a HD remake. And Jack and Daxter is a bit of a cross between the two. It's more open world than Uncharted. You'll be pleased to know. Maybe it'll be like Uncharted 4, but it's a bit more open world. But I didn't like it as much, but a lot of people were really in that bandwagon. If you want to play like a modern day version of Jack and Daxter, it would be Ratchet and Clank. Because I don't know much about Jack and Daxter, I'm going to move us quickly and swiftly on to the main topic of the podcast. Jack's favourite game of all time, Uncharted.
I wouldn't go. Well, you can't say it's my favourite game of all time because there are 4 of them. I don't know which one I'm in favour of just yet.
There's 5 as well.
If you count the Vita one, yeah. Vita one wasn't made by Naughty Dog, though, James.
It wasn't. It is still a good game, though.
Yeah, but it wasn't made by Naughty Dog, and this podcast is about Naughty Dog.
That is true. It's Nathan Drake's collection.
What part of the games would you like to speak about specifically?
Well, I remember when they came out, Uncharted came out the same year as Assassin's Creed. Now, we both remember there's literally no excitement for Assassin's Creed Syndicate. What has Uncharted, in your opinion, done correctly to make this hype like ridiculous in comparison to Creed's kind of meh?
Well, you can't. I struggle to compare the two games because they're different genres of game. I know they've both got the main part of their gameplay is climbing, right? But they're completely different games in my opinion. I mean, like Assassin's Creed is a truly open world action RPG, where with like character enhancements and all that kind of different thing. Uncharted doesn't have any of that. I mean, the 4th one may have certain open world elements, but it's they're calling it linear open world. You can't just like go wherever you want. I mean, but what Uncharted have done so well to get to this point is that every single one of their games at the time, I mean, if you look back now on Uncharted 1, it's not the most graphically amazing game, although in my opinion the remaster made it look as good as basically any game out today. But I mean, like at the time that they were released, they always had incredible graphics compared to most other developers. The story was always the main thing. It's like basically everyone says it, but it is basically like playing an Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah.
So that's the main appeal, and also I mean, like you can say that there's 3 main parts of the gameplay, isn't there? There's shooter, climbing, exploring. Because that's more than 3. Exploring, fighting with fists, all that kind of thing. You can't say like either of those individual elements is like the best out there. You can't say like the shooter elements are better than like Gears of War. You can't say the fighting's better than like Batman and Arkham. But you can say they all combine to make a whole that is incredibly enjoyable and better than most of the games out today.
I personally agree with you on the gameplay. Like, I don't think they're experts at any sort of part of the gameplay. I think it's just that it's always good if it's not great. And then, but the storytelling part, that seems to be their strength. That seems to be what makes their games. As you said, like, it is Indiana Jones in the movie, but actually, I'd rather play a game of Uncharted than I would watch an Indiana Jones movie. Is as good as a big screen blockbuster. It's one of the only games, it's probably one if I say it's the only, that comes to mind as a game with an absolute blockbuster feel. The movies. The only other game I can think of is made by Naughty Dog, and that's The Last of Us. The Tomb Raider maybe, but
I think but Tomb Raider the new Tomb Raider, the reboot, has been heavily influenced by Uncharted, hasn't it?
It feels like the original Uncharted was influenced by the original Tomb Raider. Then Tomb Raider, as you said, the reboot is Uncharted with a woman in it.
Yeah, basically.
But I couldn't say, like, I look at the brands like Halo and Assassin's Creed and all these other games, and I fall out. The storytelling's better. It feels blockbuster. I mean, admittedly, 2 of those games I mentioned, you make your story to a case. because they're open world.
Yeah.
But so they can't really be compared. But there's not as many linear games out there nowadays because it's harder to tell a linear story and to keep an audience. And
Yeah, because people nowadays expect a game when they pay X amount of pounds, they want a game that they're going to be able to play for a long time, and that's normally open world RPGs. Uncharted maybe is like 15. If you're doing absolutely everything, it could be maybe 15, 18 hours. Well, if you look at the trophies for Uncharted 4, which apparently is the biggest game in the franchise, one of the trophies is being it on the speed run of completing it in just 5 hours.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're not the biggest game.
I built it today. So there is that extra hour. But you do pick speedrun mode, and I think on speedrun mode you don't get the cutscenes and stuff.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Alright, so I mean, this has been a quick podcast, but just to conclude here, tomorrow, is this game up there with your most anticipated games? And briefly.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm just annoyed I've got to wait for the 5 GB download to update after it gets it.
I'm looking forward to it. There is a trophy on there. I saw the trophy list of beating a high score in a retro game. Don't know what that retro game is yet, but let's find out tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. It is my most, you can talk about your football managers and stuff, but it is far more anticipated than that. I've waited 7 years for this.
I just wanted, before the end, I just want to comment on the pure quality of our delivery here, our commentary, our knowledge and analysis have all been top.
If you've enjoyed this analysis, we will be back in probably about 2 weeks' time with a review of the game.
I know everyone out there can't wait. You'll just have to. Okay, we'll get there when we want to.
On that bombshell, it's good night from us. It's good night from me.
Good evening,
Jack.
Goodbye.
Screw you.